Hi, I'm Mitch Gallagher from Sweetwater. Today, we're checking out a USB microphone from PreSonus that's ideal for broadcast, live streaming, and podcast. Let's get started. Today, we're looking at the latest member of the PreSonus Revelator family. This is the Revelator Dynamic Microphone. It's a USB microphone, but it's a dynamic microphone. Previously, we had the Revelator mic, which was a condenser microphone. This is a dynamic, and it gives you that classic sort of broadcast sound to your voice. Now, there are actually two parts to this system. There's the dynamic microphone that I have here, and there's also an app that runs in your computer, and we'll check that out as we're looking at the microphone and checking out all its features. The nice thing about all of the Revelator products from PreSonus is that they're super easy to use. Simply connect the USB cable. In this case, you've got a couple of controls on top, and those match with controls that are in the app, as we'll see. But it's very easy to set up as far as adding music that plays in your podcast. You can do Zoom interviews and feed them all through the same system and record them. So it's a great all-in-one solution to get you started. The Revelator Dynamic includes the microphone itself. It includes this tripod stand, and you also get a USB cable. Now, I'm connected into a Mac here, but you could also connect into a PC. And the critical component, as far as turning this into a podcast system, is the Universal Control app, which I have running here in my MacBook Pro. When you first open up the Universal Control app, you'll see this. It automatically detects that we've got a Revelator dynamic microphone here, and you have a couple of settings that you can make. You can set the sample rate. You can set whether the device is in single or multi-mode. Pretty much all the time you're going to want to leave that in single mode unless you have a specific reason to move it to multi. Multi just changes the way other software sees your Revelator Dynamic. And once you have those settings made, you'll probably never change them again. And you can get into the real fun part of the app, which is click down here and it'll open up. And we get a mixer that allows us to bring in multiple signals. We have a variety of processing things we can do from the microphone. We have ways to route sound in and out. So let's take a closer look. Now, the first thing you need to do once you have your microphone connected is set the gain. And you can do that either using the gain control right here, or you can actually do it on the microphone itself by holding down the monitor button until the light turns green. And then when you move the knob, you'll see that the gain control inside the app is actually changing. Now, you're probably also hearing the level of my voice change a little bit, and that's because the microphone you're hearing in this video is actually this Revelator Dynamic. Now, this knob on the microphone also controls headphone volume. So what I'm hearing in the headphones is changing as I move that. And if we press that, so you didn't hear me there because what it does is it mutes the microphone. The other switch that's here on the Revelator Dynamic microphone is labeled Preset, and it allows you to call up different special effects inside the app. So right now we're on a preset called Broadcast Basic. It's a straight ahead sort of sound. If we press once, we move to the second preset called Broadcast Radio. You can hear that makes my voice sound a little bit bigger. Broadcast Light is less processing. We've got one here called Delay, which is a special effect. Let's go back to the Broadcast Basic here. The final preset that we can instantly access is called the Hotkey preset, and we access that here in the app. If you press that, in this case, it's on to an effect called Witness Protection. Then we can instantly turn that off and go back to our other presets. Now, you can also bypass all the presets by pressing and holding the preset button. You'll see that they gray out here inside the app. And we re-engage by just pressing again. Now, this is the very kind of surface level way to operate the Revelator Dynamic microphone. You can dig in a lot deeper. You can choose to assign whatever sounds you want using the wheel here. Broadcast radio, broadcast clear. Here's reverb, delay. Here's our witness protection. Computron 4000. And then we also have 8 user presets here that you can assign. And you do that using this screen here. Again, very simple to operate. But a lot of the power inside the app is that PreSonus has taken the processing ability of each channel that's inside their Studio Live consoles, their high-end digital mixing consoles, and given it to you here in the FAT channel. So we have a high-pass filter, we have a gate, we have a compressor, we have an EQ, we have a limiter, and we also have an effect. Now you can turn those on and off right here, or we can look at the overall channel and go much deeper with our editing. So we can edit the gate, you could edit the compressor, the equalizer, the limiter. A fun part of this is that the last stage in this FAT channel is actually a vocal effect. In this case, it's delay. If we turn that on, check, 1, 1, 2. But we have others as well. Here's a doubler. Here's a deep tuner. A vocoder gives you a special effect voice. Ring modulator, filters, and back to the delay. How we can bypass any of the stages inside this fat channel by simply turning them on and off. Now, in addition to these effects and this processing capability, we also have scenes that we can store, which basically store the complete configuration for the app at any given time, and you can save and recall those. So, for example, you could have one scene that was set up for a Zoom interview, and another scene that's set up for music playback, and so on, and instantly switch among those. And then we have a few final settings as well. You probably will never need to access any of these, but they're there if you do need them. Now, a big part of the power as far as podcasting goes is this mixer section here on the bottom of the app. We've got the input, where our microphone is coming in, so we can turn that up and down and so on. We can even add reverb here. So this is our send into the reverb, and we can edit the reverb at this point also. So we can change that to whatever we like. But these three sliders right here with their meters are very important because this is where we can bring in the output from other apps. So for example, if I'm going to do a Zoom interview, I can open up Zoom and assign the Revelator Dynamic as my microphone and as my speaker, and now anything that comes through the Zoom app will be recorded. So you can see that Zoom signal is coming here on the playback channel. In fact, we can rename this by double-clicking. Oops, spell it correctly. We can rename that Zoom. And we have a total of 3 of those channels that we can bring in. So we could play music back from a music app inside your computer. You could play music back from Studio One Artist, which comes with the Revelator Dynamic Microphone. That's a DAW that allows you to record audio tracks and music and play them back. And so you could bring that in through one of these, or any audio you want could be played back through these different channels and mixed. So for example, we might have a music bed, and you could fade that up and down as an intro to your podcast, as you're going out of your podcast, or at different points. You could have special effects coming in and so on. Another part of the power here, aside from being able to control those inputs and bring in multiple signals very easily, is we have 3 mixes that we can send to different locations. So we have main, which would normally be your headphone send, and that's this mix here. You can see the levels there. We have a second mix that we could use for streaming, so we could feed that back into Zoom so that whoever you're interviewing could hear what's going on in your studio. And then we have another mix here, Stream Mix B, which you could send to another destination or use for another application. And each of those can be completely independent. So I've got a mix here that has 2 of the faders down and no reverb, but my mix A has reverb and all the signals up at a higher level. So we have control over all those things as far as inputs and outputs. All those different signals can be blended to create your podcast. It's very simple. Then the output from this can simply be fed into another app to record it. I'm using Studio One for this, and as I mentioned, you can see here that it's recording right into Studio One. Again, very easy to do. And as I mentioned, Studio One Artist comes free with the Revelator Dynamic, so you've already got that app there. So it is an all-in-one solution when you open the box. I hope you've enjoyed this look at the Revelator Dynamic USB microphone from PreSonus. It's a complete podcasting solution with control on the microphone, a comprehensive app that allows you to mix multiple signals, send to multiple destinations, manage interviews, manage sound effects, all sorts of things you can do inside that app. And then you also get Studio One Artist for recording, playing back, and editing your podcast as well. Thanks for joining me today. I'm Mitch Gallagher from Sweetwater. Thanks for watching. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Click here for more videos like this, or start at sweetwater.com for all your music instrument and pro audio needs.